Checking in live from the Waste Management Pheonix Open. We've got a very interesting show. We've got George Gankas. I took a lesson with him on Tuesday. We got that lesson coming out on Friday, and we have him on this very show. Myself, I'm actually at the Waste Management during this podcast. So we had Frankie take the reins and run the show. It's going to be very interesting, as you can imagine. So we let it rip. Let's go.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. I'm sure you're a little shocked to hear my voice off the rip here, but we have Trent Daddy, Ben Severance, aka Lurch, and we have Riggs live from the Waste Management. He looks like he has a drink in hand. From my view, it looks like it's an Owens Mixers cocktail, and he is enjoying himself on the 16th green at in Scottsdale. Riggs, can you hear us? Are you able to communicate with us, and how's it going?
Frankie, great job. That sounded good, man.
Appreciate that.
No, I'm good. So, Frankie, I really wanted to throw it to you to let you kind of run the show with the ads and everything, because I am here. I just won $10,000 to the Barstool Fund by hitting it pretty good shot on the 16th hole.
19
in front
feet?
of a bunch of people. So I hit it to 19 feet, and there were probably 15 celebrities or so. So they do like this glory shot thing. I don't want to be too weird because glory hole, which is a totally different realm, but
yes,
glory shot. I don't want to like get people on the wrong trajectory here, but I hit a good shot in there with a little 9-iron from 145, a little punch 9-iron, and then Alex O'Loughlin from Golf Channel, who's a great player, she hit one to like 15 feet and ended up taking I think it's $45,000 first prize.
Jeez.
And I ended up getting $10K to the Barstool Fund for the second place prize. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I played in the Pro-Am today. It was fun. It was nerve-wracking. It was a little bit weird because it was the format was a shamble, which is where you just take the best drive and then everybody plays their own ball in from there. And you really learn that, like, if you just drove the ball like Dustin Johnson, you can just shoot in the 60s, and it's very easy.
What was the overall experience like? Were you nervous? I saw a couple videos out there. You ripped one off one. You bladed one on one. I saw you called it Frankieing. There was a couple people following you that were tweeting out updates. I feel like we missed out a lot of like how you did for the second half of it. I feel like we got a lot of updates in the front, so I'm eager to hear how you did and finished throughout the whole thing.
So our team, we should have won. I would say there's really no excuse for us not to have won because we had some sticks. We had our guy Mark, who's from Knoxville, Tennessee. You can probably hear this cart driving by right now, which has got to be horrible audio. But our guy Mark from Knoxville. Oh, okay, that's good. So John Deere, by the way, which is a nice company. Shout out Trent.
Oh.
So our team, we had this guy Mark who played college golf. We had this other guy, Casey, who played like high level golf. Myself, who like I can scrape it around and hit some good wedge shots. And this guy, Jim, who was getting a couple shots. So we were in theory a pretty damn good team. We ended up finishing 14 under, and the winning score was 15 under, which is devastating. On 18, we had 89 yards in. One of our guys, Jim, was getting a stroke, and we didn't make birdie. So that fucking hurt. But overall, it's a little bit of a bummer that it's not the normal year, because playing in this Pro-Am, and Trent knows, like Trent and I came out here 3 years or so ago. We bought our own plane tickets. We just hoped to God that we could get reimbursed. We got in line at like 5 a.m. Trent got in line. I joined him like an hour later because I was super hungover. But we got in line and literally waited in line to get into this tournament at like 6 a.m. on a Saturday. And now the fact that they invite us here to play in the Pro-Am is astronomically different than I ever would have thought it would have gone. It's nerve-wracking, man. Like anytime people in general are standing around watching you and are making judgments on your shots, it's extremely nerve-wracking because none of us are good at this. And you think about like when you roll up to a tee and there's a little bit of a weight on the tee and like there's a group behind you and a couple carts, there's 4-8 people watching, you're nervous as shit. Now imagine like on a few of these holes, there's like 40, 80 people around. On the 16th hole, there's thousands of people around, or hundreds, or whatever it is today. And it's pretty nerve-wracking. and you automatically, you very quickly realize that your biggest flaws in your game just seep in when you're nervous. Like we talked about on the show before, we've talked about like, how do you deal with nerves? We asked Kisner, and Kisner was like, there's no substitute for experience. And that's just true. Like if you're standing on a tee, you have to pull a club back and then swing it at somewhere around 100 miles an hour and have that golf ball end up in a good place. That is a lot of fucking movement. And if you're super nervous, you don't have a lot of control over that movement. And you learn that just like if you're a nervous fucking person, you really are pretty fucked. And that was pretty evident today. Luckily, it was a shambles, so it didn't matter that much.
Did you come close to killing anybody at any point?
Twice. So on the 10th, it was weird. This happens to me. I can't fucking figure this out. But at the beginning of rounds, I get through it, right? You would think that like you're most nervous on the first tee. I hit a pretty good drive on the first tee, played well, whatever. Dude, when I got to like the 10th hole, I had a couple blocks in a row where I was just hitting these super blocks. I'm talking like a block is like, oh, I missed in the right rough. I'm talking these balls missed 80 yards right of where I was trying to hit them. And on the 10th tee, I'm actually looking at it right now. So right over there.
That guy's like, woo! That's like that. You guys see
that guy also thinks like we're talking about him, and you turn the camera to point like
show the grass.
It's like that moment in the Simpsons movie where they bring the dome, they put it over everybody, and the president, I believe, like shows up on the side, and he goes like, "Citizens of Springfield," and the guy goes, "Woo, Springfield!" My favorite part.
Dude, so you right here is a driving range, right? And earlier today, like Rory was on that range, a bunch of guys are on that range hitting balls, and I, from that tee back there, hit a super block that landed and was underneath a amateur player's golf bag on that driving range.
Oh my god! Was there like muttering going on, being like, "Whose ball is this?" Like, did you even walk over there? Did you leave the ball?
Dude, I was trying. So they're like, I was trying to be hush hush. I was like, just that could have been anybody's ball. Yeah, I don't know. And instead, there's like these two fucking 11-year-olds who I took a picture with, like, Riggs, your ball's over here, Riggs. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you guys doing? And then Harry Diamond, who's Rory's caddy, is literally looking up at me on top of this hill from down there. He's looking up at me like, you're a problem, kid. And and so at that point, like my ball doesn't say my name on it. I'm trying to just be TaylorMade. It could be anybody. Black dot. Yeah. TaylorMade 2 black dot. It could be anybody. And it turned out it was mine. So I was trying to get away with it, but they literally everyone on the range. I mean, look, you're looking at the exact situation. I'm on top of this hill. Yeah. Everyone on that range just looked up at me.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
You can't get away from that one.
I couldn't get away from it. So,
there's been multiple times in my life where I've hit shots onto other holes, and it's just been me and the other group that's coming towards me, and I've still acted like that wasn't my ball, that I've hit like either on their tee box, on the green. I've hit one once on the green from a tee, and I was playing solo, and there's no other ball that could have came from anywhere unless it came from the sky. And everyone's like, "Is your ball over here?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm over here. Thanks, guys. No problem. I'm over here in the middle of the fairway." And they're like, "Well, no, like this is your ball, 100%." But no, dude, you take that to the death. You take that all the way to the grave.
I also had a tough situation where I rolled on. So they do, on tour now, they do 9-hole Pro-Am. So like in the front 9, you play with one pro, and then on the back 9, you play with a different player. So we had Tyler Duncan on the front 9, super nice guy, Purdue grad, his caddy. Like they're incredibly nice, not overly electric personalities, but they're super nice. And then on the back 9, we get Sung Kang, and we're standing on the tee and we hit our shots, and then JT Poston and his caddy Fleener, who we've had on the show, they roll up to the tee and they're like, "Yeah, we wanted to see what's going on here." So I get these guys, Poston and Fleener, they're both videoing me on 10, and I hit the worst shot again that you've ever seen in your life. And I'm self-conscious. I'm like, Jesus, I might have killed somebody on the range, like whatever. And I look back, and Poston's just standing up there with his phone, like the classic "I'm filming you" look on his phone. Like I can't even see his face or his eyes. He's just, all I could see is cell phone and him and his guy. So then I saw he posted that on Instagram 2 seconds later. So it's like my worst fucking swing of the day is not only almost killed Rory and his caddy, but like everyone's laughing at me. So, that's kind of what you would expect, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like it was an amateur, an amateur side of the Pro-Am. I mean, then that's like, what else would you rather have? Like, you're not going to go out there and fire the lowest number on the course. That's not who we are. We're not Rory McIlroy. We're not a fucking pro. We're not on the pro side. We're very much after the dash. That's our crew.
Correct. We are the second part of the dash in Pro-Am, and that was very clear. Now, I will say that I played really fucking well today. I hit a lot of really good shots. Our team was good. The fact that people shot 15 under in a shamble, it was like the lowest one ball, so I get that, but 15 under is really good. We had a chance to get to 15 under. We ended up posting 14 under. I don't think people really care that much about it, but overall, very fun experience. The waste management, they're trying to do their best, right? Like this is a tournament that lives and breathes and has a soul that is based upon having the most fans in golf by a mile. Like they get 100,000 people a day. Some days they get 700,000-800,000 people total throughout the whole week. And now coronavirus, it kind of like rips the whole identity of the tournament out from under their feet. And they're doing the best that they can. So I think there are a few hundred people on the 16th hole. I'm getting ushered out of here by the police, which I love the police, so I respect the shit out of that. But yeah, they're doing the best that they can. It's a fun environment. Ultimately, the course is in great shape, and there's still a lot of nerves on 16. There's music. It's a fucking shit show. It's hard to hit shots, especially when you're an amateur. So,
how did you do on 16 the first go around, your first attempt? Because obviously this contest was the second time, right?
Yeah. So first time on 16, it was 145, which is between, out in the desert. So this is actually an interesting fact. So Tyler Duncan and Sung Kang, we were talking to him. We're like, does the ball go farther in Arizona? And they said, yeah, they play about a 3 to 5% difference based on the elevation being in Arizona. So then that fucked with us because the whole rest of the day, I'm trying to calculate like 3 to 5% of all my shots. And you know how we were in Australia. Like we couldn't even do 10%, which is the easiest number you could imaginably do. But it's 145 to the pin, and I had a little 9-iron, and it was between a pitching wedge and a 9-iron for me. And I tried to just choke down a little 9-iron, and I kind of toe hooked it a little bit at the flag, went right at the pin. I hit it to about 30 feet, 2-putted for par, no big deal. Second time around in this glory shot thing. So the way they do this is they've been doing it forever, which is they get a bunch of celebrities. Darius Rucker was out there. I chirped him about losing to the foreplay crew.
Did he leave again? Did he walk away halfway through you talking?
He was like, he's a competitor. That guy's a competitor. And he was not happy. And I like your little joke about him departing the match when he clearly knew he was going to lose. But yeah, he did. I was kind of like, so Colt Nose, who's great, who we've had on the show, he was chirping people, and he was chirping everybody, chirping Darius when he was on the tee. And then I threw in a little, he's like 5-time Grammy winner, and then he started roasting a little bit. And then I threw in like lost to the foreplay crew, and Darius kind of looked at me, and he gave a little bit of a smile, but also kind of like fuck you kind of thing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll ever talk to Darius Rucker ever.
No,
I think it's over
so.
Which we got. That's fine. Like, but we beat them, and that's just the truth. But Darius Rucker may never speak to us again.
I would say a lot of people would say that we never should have talked to him in the first place. So I think we've got a win on one.
Correct.
That's fair.
So Michael Phelps was there. He had a terrible shot, way right of the green. So there were a lot of people there. Oh, Rob Riggle was there. Rob Riggle is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. So he came over to me, tapped me on the shoulders like, Riggs. I was like, oh, what's up? And he's like, hey, I was right behind you guys at Greyhawk. You guys are filming that match. And I was like, dude, shit. I'm so sorry about that because we took forever. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, no, I honestly was like working on a bunch of stuff. It was cool to watch you guys do your whole thing. And I was like, man, you should have come up and said hi. And he's like, I really considered it, but I didn't want to be that guy that comes off like, hey, look at me, I'm a Mr. Camera guy. Please put me on camera. So I was just kind of chilling, and I was like, man,
dude,
that's
I would have
really good
shit my
point.
pants if Rob. I mean, I have
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm hearing about this,
Me
that Rob
too.
Riggle was behind us. Like if I was just a pro, like getting up to my tee shot and Rob Riggle walked up, I would have been flabbergasted.
I remember somebody saying that while we were playing. I kind
Really?
of remember somebody. Yeah, I remember somebody
Which
saying.
place
I
was
like, no
Greyhawk?
way.
Was it when we played the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, he was behind us for that round. That
Yeah.
is, I saw two guys in the fairway
Yeah.
waiting for us on every single hole. That was Rob
Well,
Riggle.
Took
Rob
us 8
Riggle.
hours to play.
Not only did we take forever that day,
Forever.
but it was raining and cold that whole day. So we could have got, Rob Riggle sick
People
if he's
love
out there.
Rob
for
Riggle.
Dude, I remember at one point saying these guys behind us fucking despise us.
Rob Riggle.
As they should. Took forever. We were on the
It's a
tee
7-hour round in
forever.
the rain.
In the rain, cold.
We played the
pathetic,
slowest round of
horrible
golf of
weather.
all time. That was Rob Riggle. So he came up to me and was like, Riggs, what's up? I was behind you guys at Greyhawk. I love everything you guys are doing. And we started talking about golf and like the golf swing. And he's a golf nut, dude. He's like, he told me a very funny story. He goes, hey, I got like a little bit of tendonitis in like my forearm. And I was like, oh man, that's tough. And he goes, yeah, I can't really tell anybody about it. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it's because I've been playing so much golf. So like, I literally can't tell my bosses or projects that I'm working on that I have arm trouble, because the reason I have arm trouble is I'm not doing anything. I'm just playing golf all the time. So he was like, he's a golf nut. He was super into it. And he loves us. So we got to get him back on the show. But yeah, I mean, overall, look, it's what you would expect out of the Waste Management Pro-Am. It's a very fun time. It's nerve-wracking. There are fans chirping. 16's extremely intimidating. You walk through this fucking tunnel. There's music jamming. They kind of like introduce you. They gave me a little bit of a ridiculous introduction. I don't know if you guys saw the video on Twitter, but like they gave me kind of a Tiger at Eastlake, Phil awkward, too long introduction where it's like say one or two things about a person, but they're kind of going on. And it was like, and then I just spray one right. It's like, you did all that for this.
No,
So
I didn't see the video, and no offense, but what accolades were they listing off?
I was going to ask the same thing.
they were listing like very vague accolades, like they've really taken the golf world by storm.
Oh.
Is one thing that they said. Another was that we're currently the 20th ranked sports podcast in the world. Like
What color is that ribbon? Like yellow or like orange with a hint of red in it? That's a weird. There's 19 better podcasts than them in the sports category.
really scraping the bottom of the barrel
yeah.
trying to figure out nice
We
things
got this
to say
guy.
about us.
So yeah,
It's like, hey, he definitely does a golf podcast.
Yeah.
he breathes air and then releases.
Their
it back
producer
to the
Jake
side.
just acquired some new podcasting equipment for them for when they travel on the road. That's pretty cool though. I mean, I would be nervous as fuck standing up there. You don't want anyone saying your name like that. It's embarrassing. It's like it's uneasy feeling. Because we are just a bunch of idiots. So when people try and act like we're a part of the real world, I always get an uneasy feeling. I can't imagine what it feels like standing up there, like being announced. I'd be like, okay, dude, okay, shut up, shut your mouth. Let me just hit the golf ball.
Yeah. Also, like I don't know, there's no way this can't sound egotistical, but like the generally one of the most true lines about golf and like average golfers is that if you're nervous on the tee, it's you shouldn't be, because nobody cares where your shot goes. But I honestly feel like with us, people are watching, right? Like when they did do my ridiculous introduction and they gave through the whole thing, there was like a legitimate crowd that was like, let's go, Riggs, let's see it. And I think that those people honestly are going to tell people where I hit it, and they're gonna like tweet about it, and they care, and they're gonna be on their group text being like, no, I watch Riggs play, and X, Y, and Z is how it went. So like that is in my head of like, dude, if I was just a normal person, I've been watching a lot of Entourage lately, so there's a very funny line when Johnny Drama is like, he's like, baby bro, you can't have like a celebrity dating a civilian. So like the civilian line is very funny, and in no way are we not civilians, but in this analogy, like if I was just an average civilian, nobody would give a fuck and I wouldn't care and I would still be nervous, but it wouldn't matter as much, whatever. Now I know, like, if I spray one way right, there's guys immediately going to their phone that are like, dude, I want Riggs sucks. Like, you should keep tweeting at him. You should keep sending hate texts and tweets and Instagram DMs because he sucks. And I'm thinking about that in my brain as I tee off, and it's very rattling. So yeah, is it super fun playing in this event? Absolutely. Is it also like nerve wracking and you're looking around like who's got their phone out? Absolutely. And ultimately, I feel like I did pretty well. I feel like I played pretty well. Like our team was good. That helps. Shamble format helps. So yeah, it was fun. It was nerve wracking. It was kind of what you would expect it to be.
It sounds like you think almost that your team let you down. Like you're saying that you played pretty darn well today.
No. Dude, our team was on. We finished one off the lead. Like our team was good. Our team didn't let me down at all. We had our one guy, Mark. He shot 62.
Hi, Mark.
Wow. Mark,
Dude, he shot
on.
62.
62. That's insane.
That's good golf.
Well, it sounds like you had a good fucking day out there, Riggs. Hopefully we'll all be able to experience that place. I just want to go to the tournament one of these days. I have never been out there. It looks like a hell of a good time, even during COVID times, which is crazy that like they were able to at least pull off something. Like 16 still looked pretty sick. Like I saw a lot of videos of it.
Yeah.
That's unreal that you're able to play in that. I mean, you would say that it was a success, no? Like recapping it and finishing this?
Yeah, so I would say massive success. Like, you know, the Thunderbirds that run this thing, they're very famous for having run this tournament forever. And like they've run this tournament and pretty much every year they haven't had to worry about too much. It's like, hey, the waste management's massive. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of fans. It's going to make millions of dollars. They've raised for charity tens of millions of dollars. Like they've done an awesome job. And then all of a sudden, when your event is based on like hundreds of thousands of people being in the same place at the same time, it creates challenges that you're not necessarily like prepared for, or you weren't necessarily chosen to be the people that choose how to best handle that situation. And they've done an awesome job. It's been a very fun event. Like I got tested this morning. I sent you guys the result, but like they've been testing the shit out of people. They're doing everything that they can to like keep people separate. We've all talked a lot about how golf is, among all the activities and all the things that we're able to do now, golf is one of the safest. Like you're outside, you pretty much are far away from each other the whole time. So they've tried to embrace that while not being irresponsible. And I think they've done a really good job. It was very fun today. Everyone again was like tested that was inside the bubble. Those that weren't were kept outside the ropes, which was weird, right? Like it's weird to go up to people that are like, you know, hey guys, I can listen to Fore play, love you guys. Can we take a picture? You're like, yeah, I'll take a picture, but like I'm an inside the ropes guy and you're an outside the ropes guy. Like that is not the crux of what we do. So that like there's awkward, weird fucking shit that you got to handle. But that's just the nature of the beast. That's kind of what we're dealing with. And everyone that came out today was cool as shit. There were stoolies everywhere. Like I had Sung Kang came over to me after like 3 holes and he's like, so what do you do? Like what is going on here? Because the stoolies were dominating the crowd engagement. Like they were going fucking nuts and they were just all over the place at a place where there really weren't that many people around. So it stood out. So yeah, our fans were awesome. Like everybody who listens to the show, the guy that like handled our cart and like all of our little bullshit, Andy was like a huge listener and like knew all the bullshit about the show. So on that level, it was very, very cool. And yeah, it's the waste management. Like we all kind of know about that. Trying to do the waste management during a pandemic is tricky as shit. But I thought it went really well.
Well, as Rory McIlroy says, and to quote him, the pandemic has been great for golf. I don't know if you saw Rory's tweets today, his talk today, a little weird.
He had a very interesting day. I think we should probably get into that.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that for a little bit. But first, I want to talk about another massive success in the golf world, and that is called Owens Mixers, Owens Craft Mixers. They are Barstool's official cocktail mixer. We all know them. We all love them. We got the transfusion mix. We got Lurchie's Palomas. We've seen a lot of the Paloma. What's the Paloma again?
You know it. Give it a guess.
Dude,
I feel
don't put me on the spot right now because I don't.
I know you know this, because you're just going through the ad read right now, which is obviously, but I think you're in this funnel. But if you break apart, you'll know that it's like a Greyhound, except it's got tequila.
Dude, I'm not a mixologist. I used to work at a bar at Borelli's restaurant. I used to be a waiter, but I was never good at remembering what's in the drinks. Whenever I was at a waiter, I would always get stunned when they say, "What's in that? Oh, can you make this? Can you make that?" I'd always be like, you know what? Let me go talk to the bartender. They get paid to do this. I don't. That's why I need Owens Mixers. It's a foolproof, idiot-proof, Frankie-proof mixer. You become a mixologist. All you gotta do is take the little mixer, pour it in your glass, and add vodka.
And when this comes out, it'll be Thursday. So we do Transfusion Thursdays. So if you do hashtag Transfusion Thursday, if you're drinking Barstool Transfusion, take a picture of it wherever you're at. Tweet it at us, tweet it at Owens, tweet it at the Foreplay Pod. Transfusion Thursday. We'll go through a few of those and we'll pick a few winners, and we're going to send them a bunch more Owens Mixers.
What is a Paloma?
Grapefruit and tequila. Okay. And then if you throw a little dash of seltzer in there with a lime, you can really spritz it up.
See, it feels like pineapple should be in there with the Paloma, the pea.
I hear you.
You know, I'm a little upset that I didn't remember that, because I feel like we talk about that every single show. That's something I need. That's something I need to deliver better on this show. I need to be able to engage better. I feel like I go out to lunch during some of these ad reads when you guys are talking, and then I put in my 2 cents. But I will be better. So like I said, Transfusion Thursdays. Actually, like Trent said, Transfusion Thursdays. Just add a little bit of vodka. It's as simple as that. You have the perfect transfusion. They're also available on Amazon. So look for Owens and the Transfusion. Huge price drop for the product on Amazon. Amazon Prime, 1-day shipping anywhere in the country. Perfect for holiday season stocking stuffer. Nope, we're past all that. We're into the nastiness of the world. No one cares about January. No one cares about
Way
February.
to battle through that, Frank. I have to battle through that too.
I mean, you just can't put that in front of me. I'm running down a mountain. It's like, you ever see that sport? You ever see that sport in England where they run down the hill after the cheese? That's what I'm doing when I have to read these things. It's just like you fucking can't stop. And if you put something in yellow highlighted fucking font, I'm going to read the shit out of it. And it says stocking stuffer. It says stocking stuffer right in front of my face. Owens Mixers, go get yourself some mixers and make a fucking drink.
Boom, yeah, brother.
Rory McIlroy today was talking about so the RNA and the USGA.
Let's start with his the farmers reveal that he found out about.
I
actually have the quote pulled up. I got a couple of Rory McIlroy quotes.
Take it away, Trent Daddy. Take it away.
No, well, there's 2 things that Rory, he had a rip roaring day in front of the media.
He said he woke up with a mood.
Right. And he just kind of let it rip, which is great because, as we've talked about endlessly on this show, Rory McIlroy is one of the best interviews in golf and maybe in sports. So when he's ready to let it rip, you're going to get good stuff. In terms of him, everything that happened at the Farmers Insurance with Patrick Reed and then Rory on 18, obviously a lot of controversy there. And then Rory said today, this is a quote, he said, an email was sent to the tour on Monday saying my ball was stepped on to be found, but the volunteer didn't tell me that on Saturday. So that's why I took embedded ball relief, because it was an embedded ball, but I didn't know it had been stepped on at the time. So obviously the video came out on Sunday with my ball bouncing and then going in. And at that point, I'm like, well, it must have went in on its own pitch mark or something because the ball was obviously plugged. So it turns out somebody stepped on Rory's ball. That's why it was embedded when it got there. Obviously, it ran parallel to what happened with Patrick Reed, where the ball bounced. He didn't know that it bounced, but when he got up there, the volunteer didn't know what had really happened, if it had bounced or not. And Patrick Reed said that it was embedded, which people are a little sketched out about. But Rory, it sounds like his ball may have actually been embedded after it bounced on 18 because somebody stepped on it.
So the difference and the main difference that comes in here, and we talked about in the last show at length, it was a 3-hour show. Hopefully everyone that's listening has recovered from that. The big difference is this person and this volunteer felt so bad about Rory getting mixed in with Patrick Reed that he actually, or she, came forward and said this, saying I couldn't live with myself, essentially not saying anything to Rory. So the volunteer made the mistake by just not speaking up at first. I guess they were just super nervous. You're a volunteer, you just set them Rory McIlroy's ball, you see him. Imagine being that volunteer watching Rory then pick at the ball and like bring over a rules official, and you're just this volunteer during COVID times where you really can't hide at all. It's just you, Rory, the rules official, and you're at a professional golf tournament. You just stepped on a ball and like you're just trying to get out of there. So I do feel for the volunteer in that situation. I think I would do the same. You just shut up and walk away. The problem is if your conscience comes into play, you feel guilty the next night. Rory's getting swept into all of this nonsense that Patrick Reed has drummed up, and he feels so bad for Rory that he comes forward. Now, if that was Patrick Reed, there's no chance that volunteer is coming forward. A volunteer may have stepped on Patrick Reed's ball when the camera wasn't on, and we'll never know that because Rory is the golden child. People will always step forward and help Rory McIlroy. The rich get richer. Rory McIlroy is always going to have those people on his side. That's always going to come. I don't even know if this guy stepped on his ball. I think this could just be like a let's clean up Rory's act and let's help him out a little bit. Like we don't know. Like we don't even know if that's the real truth. Like how do we know that this random volunteer just like out of nowhere is like, oh yeah, the reason that happened is because I randomly stepped on his ball yesterday.
I'm with you on that. That's the first place my brain went to. It's like this feels like a separation. Yeah, I agree with you.
Also, imagine if it was for Patrick Reed. Imagine if Patrick Reed's story came out that the PGA Tour has discovered of an official that a volunteer that stepped on Reed. Are you fucking kidding me? The golf woke fucking losers would be losing their mind over how the tour has now put an actor in place to protect Patrick Reed. And this comes out for Rory. Does anybody doubt Rory? No. Do I think Rory has ever cheated? No, never. But if this happened for Patrick Reed, the golf world would lose its fucking mind.
Everyone has their own stories already made up about both of these guys. And this is something that just solidifies the difference between like public perception of both players. We will do anything and anything to save Rory McIlroy, and we will do anything and everything to ridicule and destroy Patrick Reed. Those are two facts.
Those are facts, but I do love the idea of them, the PGA Tour, having a meeting the following days after the Farmers, and then being like, all right, who's going to take the fall?
Who stepped on that ball?
Who's taking the fall for Rory? I don't know. I have the article pulled up somewhere. I don't know if they named the person. It might just be a nameless, faceless volunteer who we'll never hear from again. But they were like, who's taking the fall? It's not Rory. Hey, it ain't Rory who's taking this fall. It's one of you volunteers.
There's like a massive movie that I'm like someone like got brought in, and or maybe a Succession. Is it Succession? Where they basically tell someone that they have to like be the person that takes
Succession.
the fall. Succession. Like that's just someone got brought in. Yeah, it's the son. Someone got brought in and they just got told bad information, being like, hey man, I know that this is just what's about to happen here, but like you didn't do anything wrong. We're going to put out this report here and there's really nothing you can do about it. You stepped on this ball on Saturday, the blah, 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 blah. This is what you're going to say. And then we're just going to go ahead because Rory McIlroy is our guy.
Also, how about, speaking of Patrick Reed, how about the balls on that entire camp to have the lawyers release a statement that says, whoa, our camp has nothing to do with @Use Golf Facts. I don't know where you got this crazy idea that the people behind the Patrick Reed account are also behind the Use Golf Facts, but you guys are living in la la land. It's I mean, when they clearly tweeted from the Patrick Reed account and the Use Golf Facts, the tweets are exactly the same, but they give such little fucks that they will be like, no, we're still going to put out a statement and say that we have no affiliation with that Twitter account when all of the evidence says that they 100% do.
So they actually mentioned that to Rory, and Rory had a funny answer where he's like, yeah, like I just don't think that's Patrick Reed. I just think it's someone affiliated with his family or in his family, AKA that's just his wife. So like he was very funny the way he danced around that. But I mean, it's a very hilarious situation in which someone has to ask Rory, hey, did you see this tweet from Patrick Reed in all caps screaming that you did the same thing the night before? And he's just like, I know that's not Patrick. It's unfortunate, but
somebody, it's some unknown person that we're not sure of who it is.
I also love that it came from his lawyer. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's like the lawyer's like flat out lying. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, they love that. They love to go behind the lawyers, like when they sent a cease and desist to Brandel Chambly. And they're like, hey, stop talking about our guy like that. I mean, they're amazing. They really are amazing.
They're the best. They're the best. They're like the Cersei Lannister of golf. Like, it's just endless intrigue and content. And the fact that they don't speak directly about it, especially because, like Patrick Reed is actually a person who can speak. Like when he's actually on camera and you hear him do interviews and such, like he's a personable guy. Like when we talk to him at fucking Wingfoot, like he's personable. He can speak for himself. The fact that they just send cease and desist letters to like Brandon Chambly because on Golf Channel he called Reed a cheater, like that's amazing. And that adds such a compelling element to the whole thing. It's like, it's not like Patrick Reed isn't a person who's cheating. He's actually an entity who would like to take you to court, sir, about your claim that he has violated the law. And it's like, no, we're talking about a fucking golfer on a golf course. And the whole thing, again, like I don't want to go back and dig too deep into Reed, but like the Reed family and what they deliver for the golf world, I am very thankful for. I thank God every day, the golf gods, for the Reeds. They are amazing. And now they're in Saudi fucking Arabia. But yeah, the Rory stuff, we got the distance stuff. I don't know how deep, like we're not huge. I don't give a fuck about the distance thing. We've debated it on this show a little bit, but like at the end of the day, you get these fucking nerds who are like, oh my God, these guys, Webb Simpson or Justin Thomas, are just saying what they're saying because the equipment companies sponsor them. Do you know how capitalism works? Do you know how the world works? Of course, yes, they are sponsored by, as are we, TaylorMade athletes. They're sponsored by equipment companies that have spent billions of dollars over years, decades on research, development, that have created all these awesome things. It's not beneficial to those companies to change the rules and dial back the equipment. And also, the people that you're bitching about, like Justin Thomas, Webb Simpson, those guys are what, top 10, top 15 players in the world who have had a ton of success for the last couple of years. You think those guys want everyone to go change the rule? They don't know what the outcome is going to be. They don't know that if you go and drastically change the way the ball flies or the way the equipment goes, they don't know that they're still going to be making what, $2, $5, $10 million a year and being super successful guys that can win tournaments every day. Like, you think they want the rules of golf to change in terms of distance? Fuck no, they don't. So to only pin it on them that they're just reading like other equipment companies' talking points is such a cop-out and is such a diversion from actually confronting the fact that other people don't believe and feel the same way that you feel. Like if you're super against distance, they think that other people that are not against distance and current distance advantages in golf are only that way because they're paid by somebody and not that way because they just genuinely feel that way. And that is such a conceited way to look at it. It drives me fucking nuts.
Let me read this quote because it is like about as outlandish and aggressive as Rory McIlroy will be to the media, I would imagine.
Well, I think it's worth putting in the audio because I think people should hear the inflection of his voice. I feel like we never do that, and people always lose. When I listen back to the show, sometimes when we read quotes, I just don't listen, like the Paloma. Let's toss in Rory McIlroy's audio because I think it's super important to hear one of the best players in the world tee off on the RNA and the USGA and this research committee and these people that spent $1 million to do research. The way that they speak about this thing, it's like when you're in school and you got to do citations and all this bullshit and like go into the library and talk to that fucking lady who has no business having a job of like abiding by the books. I'm not trying to hate on librarians here,
you just win at librarians for
you know what?
Never did I think you'd be anti-librarian.
You know why? And that's sarcastic because I don't read. There's this is just boiling in my body because my town is spending $18 million of taxpayer money to redo a library in a town where we have 4 high schools and middle schools and people are already going to libraries within the schools and no one actually uses this fucking library. I think it's a scam. I think it's fucking bullshit. Whoever's constructing that library is clearly reaping the benefits. I think the whole thing is completely corrupt and bullshit. So libraries are on my shit list. I do apologize for librarians taking a massive ricochet shot there. I will take that back because I know that they're probably very nice men and women.
All right, here's Rory McIlroy.
The announcement by the USGA and the RNA yesterday, they gave the impression that this needs to happen in examining equipment standards and possibly rolling them back. Does it?
It certainly doesn't need to happen. And I think I said this in there. So I feel the RNA and the USGA are looking at golf through a tiny, narrow little lens that pertains to 0.1% of golfers. Yes, of course the ball goes a long way with top-level professionals and top level amateurs and the guys that sort of make their living playing this game. But 99.9% of golfers don't do that. And they don't want the ball to go shorter. They need help getting the ball in the air for going further. I mean, golf has had an unbelievable boom in 2020. I mean, it's been like, this pandemic has been so good for golf. And the fact that they're looking at the wrong thing. They spent millions of dollars doing this distance insights report, which I think it's not going to change the game at all. You know, they might put new regulations on manufacturers. Manufacturers are going to find a way to get around them. That's how good they are. So those millions of dollars that were spent in the distance insights report should have been put back into the grassroots of the game, because golf is experiencing a boom. So we need more younger people in the game. We need more minorities in the game. That's how we keep the game going for the next 100 years, not by looking at the ball and looking at the driver. And that's my whole thing with it. I think I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, it reeks of self-importance. And that's not, yes, they're the gatekeepers of the game, and but their job is to, yes, make sure that the game thrives in 100 years' time, and this is not the way to do it. The way to do it is by getting more people into the game, by making it more, by making golf more approachable. And if you're just piling rules on the people the entire time, that doesn't make it approachable.
Yeah, so Rory said he woke up in like a sort of a mood today, and it really does like come through in that audio.
Yes.
You know, he said the line that we all always repeat, and we say 99.99999% of golfers do not apply to these research theories and all these things that the USGA and RNA are trying to conduct. It's a bunch of guys who are trying to make their job important, to be honest, and they really have no effect on what's happening in the real life of golf. He makes this statement, and he says this one quote that the pandemic has been great for the game of golf and we should be growing it. That's a weird thing to say, but I understand where he's coming from. Like,
yeah.
You know, every guy that I've talked to when we're doing behind the greens, they're like, dude, these maintenance staffs are like, we can't handle the amount of grass that's been taken up and all the people that have been using like all their divots into the greens and all their ball marks and stuff. Like, golf has increased 20, 30, sometimes 100% year over year. I mean, it's crazy how much golf has increased. Now the restaurants and all that side has gone a lot down. Like, there's no weddings at these clubs and all that stuff, but the golf has ramped up so much during the pandemic. It's actually almost like they can't handle it at these clubs and public courses. So Rory has a really good point that you're supposed to take this moment right now. Golf nerds, RNA, USGA, not saying our friend Craig and our friends at the USGA are nerds, but there are some nerds at the USGA. That's a fact. And they are taking all this time, resource, and money to change the game, conforming clubs. Now you're bringing in TaylorMade and all these people that are just, and what he says, they're just gonna learn how to fucking go around your conforming rules anyway, and they're gonna learn how to make those clubs and balls go as far as fucking possible. So it's a waste of time. And second of all, we don't care about the balls going shorter. We want them to go longer. Make those balls fly. I mean, you think my dad, who's using fucking fake golf clubs and he wants to buy that thing with the button that shoots the ball 300 yards, you think he wants to use a conforming golf ball out there when he shoots 112 at Eisenhower Blue? He's trying to enjoy the game. Give him a Super Ball. Let him feel for once in his life what it feels like to get a ball in the air like he watches on Sunday on TV. Don't fucking sit here and tell me that we need to bring the balls back. Don't talk to me about some environmental bullshit, because these golf courses use so much money watering. Look at every single course in Arizona. They're taking water from all over the fucking place. They're making these things green. We're too far gone for the environmentalists. This is just about making fucking golf fun and just like grow the game. And Rory McIlroy nails it. He absolutely fucking nails it. I feel like I'm going crazy today because I'm the quote unquote host. So you guys take this away because I'm losing my fucking breath.
As a host, you just talk the whole time. As a host, you don't
I'm
give it to anybody. You just talk.
I'm trying to give it to you guys. This is my first time doing it. Go ahead.
You're doing a good job, Frank. I honestly, I think you're doing a good
fired
job.
Up today.
I would argue that making you host a little bit reels you in and makes you a little bit more concise, which is good because you do feel that urge that you have to throw it to somebody. Look, as someone that has, I would say of anyone on the show, I've probably been and represented the case of like reel back the distance guy more than anyone. And that's not to say that I'm on that side, because I don't know. I'm somewhere in between. And if you were to, again, be like deep in golf Twitter, woke golf Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, people hate the current distance. And they think that the only way to save golf and the future of golf is to dramatically roll back the golf ball, roll back the equipment, and ultimately you can save all of these iconic golf courses. Our guy, Brandel Chambly, is very hilariously the heel in all of this. And he goes hard on like, hey, this affects 0.0000001% of all golfers in the world. So how about you just keep everything the way it fucking is for every golfer in the world, and for the handful or for the 20 or 30 courses that you play a year for the PGA Tour guys that are the fucking top of the 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 top, do your distance thing and grow up the rough, narrow the fairways, and you'll be totally fine. Everybody can chill out. I'm somewhere in between that because I like old courses. I think they're cool. We talked about Lido and what Sand Valley's doing in Wisconsin with Lido. And like, you want these old courses. You want National Golf Links to be like relevant, but it's only 65 or 6,600 yards from the tip. So like, it can't really be, but it wouldn't be anyway. So it's tough. It's a little bit of a tricky spot. Ultimately, if I had to gun to my head, step on one side or the other, stand behind and stand in one team or the other, I'm standing in Frankie's team and what he's described so far, which is like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to hit the ball as far as I can. I got this new Sim 2. I got the TP5. I got the Tour Response, and I'm hitting the thing a mile, and it makes golf so much more fun. I get to post a scorecard where I feel egotistically positive about myself. I posted a 75 from the tips from 70. So suck my dick, you losers. I can play good golf now. Is that because of equipment or technology or because I know how to shape it? I don't care. I just posted a good score and it felt great. It was very fun. And the bottom line is, if you can make golf more fun and inclusive, that's good for everybody. That's what Rory was reiterating. That's what JT's been reiterating. That's what Webb Simpson was reiterating, who, by the way, hits the ball way shorter than those other guys. He uses hybrids. We all laugh at him about his hybrids. He's a big proponent of the fact that, like, no, don't change the distance. Like, the distance is fine. I'm doing well. I won a U.S. Open. I'm top 10 or 15 in the world, whatever he is right now. I won a Players' Championship. Like, he's not worried about it. So at the end of the day, I'm on the side of maybe bifurcation, like have different sets for pros and for amateurs, fine, but don't change the way we're playing the game. Like, I really don't care. And ultimately, I don't know that they have to change it. Like, I think it's fine. I think that what Brandel has said, what I watched at Torrey Pines, by the way, which is a great example of what the distance, the anti-distance people hate, which is like Torrey Pines was great. It was gorgeous. They had narrow fairways, high rough. It was just tough. And there were one player finished double digits under par. You know how fucking good those guys are? You know how hard a golf course has to be for one player to finish double digits under par? That's a great golf course that delivered a fascinating weekend of golf. So for me, like, I'm a little bit leaning now back towards what Rory and them are saying, which is like, chill out on the distance stuff. It's not ruining the game of golf. In fact, golf's way up. It's way more fun. I'm playing with these goddamn TaylorMade stuff. If you change that shit, I'll murder you. If you come for my Sim 2, I'll fucking slit your throat. Like, that thing brings me more excitement in my life than anything else. So I'm with Rory right now.
Lurch, you got 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Yeah.
I was gonna say you gotta call it.
I gotta call it 8.
What? Who has calls at 8 in the real world? That's a late
what do you
call.
mean 8?
Dude, it's crazy. It's a West Coast company, so it's like the mornings are a little bit slower, but then like it's just I work.
We're
a
using
West
your 30
Coast
seconds. Sorry.
No,
have you ever
okay,
told
but
anyone ever grow up? You ever respond just grow up when they ask you to have an 8 o'clock time? How does that work in the real world? Like, have you ever gotten nasty or snarky with them?
No, my thing on it is like, if it's an internal call, like you can find hours in the day that we both
that's
work.
what I mean.
But if it's external, fine. And then if it's urgent, fine. So whatever. Okay. It's just like your world.
I'm sorry, Lurch. I'm sorry. I took
Talk about conforming clubs and balls.
No. So Frankie, I was I was on your side about like go with one golf ball, forget this rollback. But now I am more on the side, like, and I know you hate this. You've been down this rabbit hole a ton where we have different golf balls potentially for the pros. Selfishly, I want it that way because it would be really cool to see old courses come back and have pros play these courses with old golf balls, just because on tour we see a lot of the same courses over and over again. You do get the hardo that says like they're playing with this ball and you're not. So it's like, you buddy, get lost. Like, I don't care about you.
But I don't want to interrupt you, but you know what? Actually, it just hit my head that like,
I got to jump though, so I'm going to listen out.
No, but like, fine, like expose those people. Like, I actually like that. Dude. Like, if you're going to be that asshole, let's do that.
I'm on. I gotta run, but I agree.
Good luck.
Almost like
tricking those drones, baby.
Almost like tricking
best pitch, Lurch.
It's almost like tricking the morons into being morons. Like, you're out there using fucking shitty balls. Like, who the hell is this guy? You're using fucking rolled back conforming balls, you loser. Like, that's the ultimate I got you moment ever on the golf course. So sure, let's do it.
It would be kind of cool. Lurch brought up an interesting point where they use a rollback ball and they go and play like an old course that's usually too short. That is too short for the PGA Tour. Like, if you did that, like, that'd be like a nice novelty thing. Like, oh, they're going to play this course and they don't usually play it, but we've got these rollback balls so they can't, light the place on fire. That is interesting.
It just sucks with like stats and comparing eras, because you have guys that have played in all these eras, and Tiger Woods, like, you're just going to all of a sudden give a 40-something-year-old Tiger Woods a conforming golf ball that makes him hit it shorter. And it's just at the end of his career, he's played through all these times and all these different variations of the PGA Tour. To me, that seems very stupid. I think whoever gets to a point where they actually are changing the game, and we've said this a million times, if you can hit the ball 400 yards, you deserve to just be the best. There's no reason why we should change the game because guys are just hitting the ball further. They've learned how to just adapt. I mean, you wouldn't do this in any other sport. Like, Alexander Ovechkin scores from the same spot on the hockey rink every single time on that one-timer slap shot from the dot. Like, do you all of a sudden just roll back like the jumpiness of the hockey puck because Alexander Ovechkin just keeps scoring goals for his entire life? The guy keeps getting 30, 40, 50. It's just, you don't change the game because guys figure stuff out. So I don't know. Baseball's doing the opposite. They're secretly juicing baseballs so that people can watch their fucking sport, learn a thing or two, golf. But I do get the other side where you want to bring in these fucking golf courses. That side doesn't really get me hard. The other side that gets me hard is balls bouncing to the moon. So I don't know. I'm firmly on the side of just leave it and let it run its course.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I get that it's tough. I think that, like, it's very impressive of us to admit that, like, we can see a little bit of both sides, but ultimately I am on the side of, like, dude, I don't feel like less of a person because I have this awesome golf club that dozens of engineers, including like 10 sound engineers, worked their dicks off. And that is based upon decades of research that then collides with a golf ball that is also based on decades of research and dozens of engineers. And that because all of these people have worked together and we are now at a further, more evolved, more technological state as a human species, that my golf ball goes farther and straighter. I do not, when I stand on the tee, feel like less of a man when I roast one down the middle with a little tight draw. I don't feel less at all. In fact, I feel fucking awesome. I look around, like, did you see that? All those videos that you dickheads took of me hitting bad shots, did you also take that cool video of me hitting a good shot? Because no part of me feels less. I don't feel like, oh, technology allowed me to do that, otherwise I couldn't do it. No, I feel like the man. I feel awesome. I'm having a great time. I'm more likely to then look at my tee time app, Spring Golf, whatever it is, book another tee time. I'm more likely to go grab more tailor-made clubs. I'm more likely to get more invested in the game because this is fun. Hitting the ball far and straight and shooting lower scores is fun. It's better for the game. It's better for me as a human being. And that overall will dominate this conversation, in my opinion. And the very few people, a couple hundred people on fucking Earth, there's 7-8 billion people on this goddamn rock that's going around the sun. And because a couple hundred of them, which, by the way, out of those couple hundred, what are we talking about? 20 or 30 of them now are hitting it too far that people are losing their minds. That's going to change the entire rules of the game. That's crazy town. So I am more on that side now. I think that's fucking nuts.
You have a premium driver in the TaylorMade Golf Club. You know what else has a premium driver? Bose Sport earbuds. They have acoustic ports and premium drivers that make your music sound clear, balanced, whether you listen loud or soft. Tell me something about that, Trent. Do you want premium drivers both in your golf bag and in your ears?
I do want that.
Well, we've got that all covered because Bose Sport earbuds are the official earbud of Foreplay Podcast. We all have them. We all love them. They are designed to deliver lifelike audio and comfortably secure it. Have you seen that Patrick Mahomes commercial where he looks really cool and fucking awesome when he's he's standing in that like colorful room and he's bopping his head to the music?
Yes.
Have you ever felt that cool in your entire life?
Absolutely not. But I know I can try to get there with Bose.
Dude, and something about we talked about this last week, but the word premium and class, you think of that with certain companies. There's like these upper echelon companies within all different parts of our lives, and Bose seems to own that in sound. They've dominated the sound game so much that you actually feel like they use the word lifelike audio, and that really doesn't make any sense because like we are living in life, but it does make sense, right? Because sometimes when you listen in shitty headphones and just like things that you get on the airplane, you ever see those earbuds that they give you on the airplane?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I'll be in an airport and I'll realize that I forgot my headphones. You have to buy the cheap ones at a Hudson News. Dude. And you're like, oh, this should be similar. And then you put them in and you're like, I can't hear anything.
Dude, when you put on these Bose Sport earbuds, it does feel lifelike audio compared to that. It sounds like you're listening to an artificial, changed version of the world music. Like if you're about to listen to a new album and you're not going to listen through the best channel that you could possibly listen through, if you're going to listen with these shitty headphones or you're going to go get the Bose Sport earbuds, I have the Foo Fighters coming out at midnight on Thursday night. Medicine at midnight.
I knew that's where you were headed.
And if you don't think I'm sitting in my bed and like, cause it's all about the first time you hear music, Trent. That's like the biggest moment when you're driving in a car, a new song comes on. It's just like everything just resonates with you differently. And if you don't have the correct sound going through your earlobes and into your brain, you're not going to understand or you're not going to enjoy that as much as you should. So I am going to be using my Bose Sport earbuds. They're super comfortable and the touch controls are easy to use. The acoustic ports, the premium drivers make your music sound clear, balanced, whether you listen loud or soft. They're also great for any phone calls you need to make if you're lurchy, loose picks, and you're making phone calls at 8 o'clock selling drones.
Don't say that. He's not here. You don't have to say lurchy, loose picks.
You can use your Bose Sport earbuds. You know, Patrick Mahomes is the guy who wears them. He's in the Super Bowl this week. Do you have a prediction, by the way, for the Super Bowl? Both of you guys?
Are you guys seeing this fucking sunset?
That's an unbelievable sunset.
That is nice.
Holy shit.
What are you thinking for this? What are you thinking for this Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes in it?
I'll be honest. I'm about as torn as I've ever been over a Super Bowl because I do think, like, I'm a big Tom Brady believer. Even though I'm a St. Louis guy, like they beat the Rams early on back when I used to be a Rams fan. So I hated Brady for a while, but I do think Tom Brady is just so unbelievably impressive as a human being and as an athlete that it's hard for me ever to like pick against him. Having said that, like Mahomes and the Chiefs are sick. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the line's pretty accurate. What is it like? Last time I saw it was like 3.5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's what the Barstool Sportsbook had it at.
So,
yep.
Barstool Sportsbook had it 3.5. So yeah, I think that's pretty. I think that the Chiefs are going to win by low single digits. I think by 3, 5 points, something like that. I think the Chiefs pull it out, but it's going to be a good game.
I'm just going to take Brady until he's out of the league. Until Brady is no longer in an NFL locker room playing quarterback. I'm going to take Brady. Obviously, Mahomes and the Chiefs are sick. They won the Super Bowl last year. But you got Tom Brady's a whole different monster. Expertise. He's just been in a million of these. Mahomes has obviously been in a couple now. But it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady until he's out of the league.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the end. I think it's hard to pick one or the other. I think Mahomes has become a just juggernaut in this league. And Tom Brady is just the guy you can't bet against until he just loses, right? Like he just refuses to lose. It's going to be really hard, but you know, Patrick Mahomes being a Bose athlete, rocking his Bose Sport earbuds, I think I'm going to give him the edge in this one. It's going to be a clash of the Titans. I cannot wait to watch this game. It's going to be a great one. You can be like Patrick Mahomes, who's doing pretty damn well these days, rocking his Bose Sport earbuds. You can go to bose.com/barstool to buy your own Bose Sport earbuds. Maybe one day you will be in the Super Bowl facing Tom Brady. Probably not, because if you haven't got to that point yet, he only has a couple years. You probably missed the window, but you can still listen. You can still listen to some. You can listen to some elite music.
He might
Frankie,
still.
Can I say something, Frankie?
Go ahead.
Can I say something? I want to commend you. I think you've been yourself on this show. I think you've been a more positive, upbeat, the real Frankie. This entire show. It's been very nice to see.
I appreciate those kind words. It's just you're out on the field. Lurch was only here for a couple minutes. Everything's really, it's just a different vibe today. So I do like what's going on. I have Bose waiting outside my door, which is it's getting very cold. So I do need to go get that at some point. So I've been thinking about that. I'm hungry. We got Surviving Barstool coming out. I want to watch that. I'm just in a good mood.
That fucking move that those people made, telling Tommy what
they're the biggest idiots in the world. I love Brianna Chicken Fry. I love Kelly Keegs. I think Brianna and Kelly Keegs have become superstars in this show. I think they're both really, really good on camera. I think they're very funny. I've been watching this as if it is a reality TV show. It's one of the best things we've ever put out.
That move that
what they did. And Donnie saw right through it. It's unbelievable that they let him know. Now, I haven't watched this newest episode, so we could be eating crow, as people say. But apparently they had a whole thing together. Maybe like Tommy told them that they were going to be doing that because maybe they wanted him to save his idol, because then he can carry someone else to the finals with the idol. It's a really good show for anyone that doesn't realize what we're talking about. Surviving Barstool. When this episode comes out, you will be able to watch the live version, right? It's episode 4. It's live, right?
Yeah. Finals. So the 4th aired tonight, which I'm in, by the way, so you can go see my pretty face in this episode. But then, they're doing a live finale Thursday night to pick the winner. So nobody knows who the winner is.
$10,000 on the line. It's really good show. There's a lot of drama, a lot of tears, anger, fuck yous. It's really good.
I was very sad when they voted Za off. Za is just the most beloved character and person at Barstool. And when they voted him off, I totally understood it. I think you probably have to. And the whole dynamic of when you're the last person left, you're going to get dominated by somebody like Za. So you got to make sure somebody like that's not left. Za honestly was the victim of being too well-liked, which sucks.
He's the most likable person in the world. A lot of people say that about Trent. There's just certain people that, and you don't have to get all mushy gushy. I said that, but you are a likable.
They don't say that about me and Frankie.
No, not me. I mean, they hate me. I speaking of hating me, we released a trailer, and actually the golf course is now live. Butters Bay is officially open on PGA Tour 2K21. Shout out Crazy Canuck, who helped me as my co. We're basically, we are oh my god, why am I blanking on
co-architects?
We're Core Crenshaw basically we're Core Crenshaw co-architect, and Core Crenshaw was getting in my head so much that I almost called it co Crenshaw. But we are attacking the world, the virtual world. I have the brains, he has the fingers, so it's been a really good process. And it is live, but I made this video and I tried to do Tom Rinaldi and get really, really dramatic about a virtual video game golf course. And people are like, this narration is ridiculous. You guys should have gotten the real Tom Rinaldi. It's dude, the joke is that it's supposed to be the worst narration of all time. I did it on FaceTime with Trent and eBug. We just tried to make it sound as ridiculous as possible. So a lot of people hated that, but I do think people are enjoying the golf course. A major is going to be live tonight when this podcast releases. It's going to be called The Buttercup. It's going to be called The Buttercup. It's a great name. It's what Eamon Lynch actually calls me, which is pretty funny. He goes, "Where's that beautiful little buttercup?" I can't shake that nickname. It's a nickname that you really can't. Once someone calls you Buttercup.
Crazy that none of us came up with that, and Eamon had to be the first one to come up with it.
Once someone calls you Buttercup, it's over. It's over. You are now. It's like the one time we went to Dave Matthews at MSG, and someone called me Pizza Boy. There's no shaking that either. You're Pizza Boy, you're Buttercup.
When Eamon comes up to us in his sniveling little fucking Irish way, taps us on the shoulder and goes, "Where's that little buttercup?"
Where's that little fucking buttercup? The way he says it in his accent's unbelievable. So shout out to him. Shout out to Butters Bay. Shout out to Crazy Canuck. Go check him out on his YouTube. Go check us out on our YouTube. And then what's coming up right after this, in a couple minutes, is George Gankas is going to be on this podcast with Riggs. You interviewed him for about 25 minutes. This guy's a crazy person from what I understand from following him on social media, watching the way he interacts with pro golfers, watching the way he interacts with people that he helps. Although he has a very weird, crazy style, but every single person that he puts on his Instagram ends up being fixed and changed for the better. You got to go hand in hand, eye to eye with him. How was that experience, and what are you taking from that?
So just to give it a little pre-chatter, he, you don't know, and I kind of said this to him during the interview, but you don't know when you sit down with somebody like that, are they just for show? Are they on camera? They're like gung-ho, they're trying to help people, and then like off camera, they're kind of like doing their own thing, whatever. This guy lives and breathes helping people's golf swings, like to the point where off camera, after we did this and during the lesson, like he usually has 3 guys and he's got a fucking iPad and he's got a TV and he's got a camera and he does all this shit. He was just by himself and he was running around flinging my hips around, flinging my arms around. Like I said to him in the middle of it, I said, I feel like I'm at the fucking chiropractor. Like what we're doing right now, I got bruises, it's insane. But he, in between when the cameras were off, they weren't rolling, dude, he was pulling chairs out while we're walking through Greyhawk's clubhouse, pulling chairs out, like, Riggs, come here. So what I want you to understand is that like you need a fist of room behind you in this chair, and then when you actually turn, your left hip needs to hit the fucking chair. Come here. And like we're doing this off camera. Cameraman wasn't around. The crew was actually waiting for us. They're like in the other room, like, where are you guys? And I'm like, Gankas has me up against the wall like I'm in fucking Tin Cup with 9,000 contraptions trying to improve my golf swing. So this guy is obsessed. He's been sending me messages nonstop. He's a huge audio message guy, so he's sending me messages left and right. He wanted me to tell everyone that he's got his own fucking promo code. So you go to his website, Scooby. Everybody calls him Scooby. I'm getting Instagram comments left and right. SCOOBIE. That's your promo code, so you can save some money if you go with Gankas on his website. I highly recommend it. The guy's the man. But point is, he's obsessed with fixing and hanging and improving golf swings, including my own. And he's just fucking all in on it. And that kind of passion and sincerity means the world. So he was the man. He's awesome.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to listening to that, because I think I need a guy who approaches it that way, who takes it almost like in an army and like military way, where he like makes you scared. I need to be scared straight, like into my swing. My swing needs to be straight. I feel like I'm wacky, wild, loosey goosey. I need someone to be like, dude, if you don't figure this shit out, I'm gonna like physically harm you. I feel like that's the vibe I get from Gankas.
Right, you're
I said you don't need a swing coach, Frank. You need like a shrink.
Yeah, true. But he's like the from the videos I've seen with him, and we're gonna watch your video with him. We're gonna listen to the podcast, but like he just seems very aggressive and like also like he just gets into your brain a better way than like a nerdy old golf guy that like he talks and maybe you just go like, whatever, dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. This guy's like
he's a Cali bro.
Yeah, he's just so fucking into it, and he's like so passionate. I need that passion, like just as much. Like I need you to have just as much passion as me when you're trying to teach me, and I feel like he has that. And he's so fit, and he's like scary. I think that's why I get that military vibe from him.
He's the man. I think people are going to love this interview, and I think they're going to love the video that we put out tomorrow on Friday. So it was good. Gankas is the man.
All right. Well, I don't know if I have anything else for you guys. I think we can toss it right to this interview if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
It's good by me, Frank.
All right. Well, come here now listening. I was going to say coming up again. That would have been the second time I said coming up. We're still learning this whole process, but here is George Gankas with Riggs Barstool from Barstool Sports Foreplay Podcast. Sex. Do you like sex, Trent? Riggs?
Yeah.
Sex is pretty cool.
Sex is sweet. It's awesome.
Sex is pretty awesome. And one of the things that you want to do during sex is make it last as long as possible. But thinking about Trent's hairline, thinking about my big forehead. I'm sorry, Trent. You know what? You took your hat off, bro, and it looked really bad.
You know what's crazy is I know that was a real chirp. Because I know that I took my hat off for the ad read, and clearly that's the one thing that you saw.
Dude,
like, boy, does that look like shit. And
that was genuine. That was very genuine, man.
It's looking light, but but you thinking about my feminine forehead doesn't always work. These things, you try and think of the most ridiculous, outrageous looking things in the world, and sometimes it just doesn't help. But the folks at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. You've heard us say this all the time. All right. How come it says saying the Pledge of Allegiance in your head? Oh, is that something people do? I pledge of allegiance to the flag. They just say the
While
Pledge of
having
Allegiance.
sexual relations with a woman?
That doesn't work.
Try to take your mind off. It's like counting sheep before you go to bed.
All right. Well, Roman swipes, you don't have to do any of this because Roman swipes are clinically proven ways to last longer in bed. They are effective. They are easy to use. They are fast acting, and they do not require a prescription, which is huge. You don't have to be embarrassed to go get them. You just need to get these things shipped to your door. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. It goes right next to the condom. Do whatever you need to do. Your little sexcapades are in your pocket, and you just go on your way. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipes out of the packet, swipe it on your little cock and balls, and then let it dry, and you're good to go. That is it. So go to getroman.com/4. You can get your first month of swipes for just $5. I can't get through this thing. Just go. I honestly think it's a great product. Everything about them is really good. I think that they've got a stranglehold on the lasting longer market, and I think that's a really good market to dominate.
Stranglehold on what now?
On the lasting longer market. So getroman.com/4 FORE for your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's getroman.com/4. Get your swipes.
All right, folks, we're here at Greyhawk Golf Club in Scottsdale. We're joined by George Gankas, who is a sensation on Instagram. He got 250-something thousand followers. We just did a lesson. First of all, just in general, do you ever think you're going to kind of be in this spot where you're posting all these videos online, instructional stuff, teaching, helping people? You're working 10, 12 hours a day. Did you ever kind of see that for yourself?
No, I didn't. I didn't even like social media when I started, to be honest. If I was going to be real honest, my buddy Danny Wax was a tour player, played on the Nationwide. He said, dude, you got to get this because you got so many good juniors right now. And I was like, I don't want to be on social media. I told him that straight up. And so that kind of started it out. And it started to get more fun because people were talking trash on you know how people talk trash about golf. It's just what they do. Yeah. So it kind of was fun to like do some battles with people talking shit all day. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, and you're good at it, right? It's like some people were like, damn, they're awkward or they're opposed to it, but you're just a natural with it.
If someone's gonna talk shit, I'm good. I like it.
So let's get into just a little bit of your background. We were talking about a little beforehand, but you're a good player in your own right. Like you said, you break par. You don't play as much as you'd like, but when you do, you're a damn good player. I watch you hit a couple balls with my irons, and you're flushing them. So you've been in golf pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I was originally, I didn't start till I was 18, 19, somewhere in there, the summer of, my senior year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't play high school ball.
What?
No, and then I played college, and I got a scholarship my last 2 years, Cal State Northridge.
Yeah.
And I was a walk-on, so it wasn't like an earned scholarship till I earned it from walking on. Okay, so it was one of those things where I just fell in love with it. I had a passion. I started reading everything, trying to figure out why I sucked. And that's how I got good.
It's funny because I can tell you're a nut, right? You're just like
I was obsessed.
Everyone that listens, because we did our video, and people are going to see it Friday. We did our lesson, and it was great. You're into it. You're running around. You're doing 3 different people's jobs. But then afterwards, when the camera shut off, like you and I are in here in this random room, and you're pulling out chairs. You're like, Rick, come stand here. This is where your ass needs to be. Totally off camera. So you're a nut. You're a golf nut.
I enjoy it. I mean, I really kind of get off on helping people out. It's like. It's what I enjoy, seeing people get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what I really, that's my passion. It's not so much about, the other exterior stuff that people think I like. I actually like just fucking making people better at golf.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you've got a good following, like I said, but you don't know until somebody shows up. He could be cameras are on, and all of a sudden George will run around and then the minutes off, could be like, all right, see you later, dude, where's my food? Instead, like I said, it was you didn't give a shit if cameras are on.
I just wanted
You're just genuinely hey man, here's your issue. Try this. Does this feel better? Is that working? Does that make sense to you? No, and you're obsessed with it. That's what you love.
It was funny last night. We're sitting over there and I see Eddie George at the thing, and I was telling Rob, it was hilarious. So Eddie George, I was a fan of him, and he's a football player.
Yep.
And legit Heisman Trophy winner, and I was like, that's Eddie George, and Wolf's like, what are you, a fanboy? And I started laughing. I'm all, nah, dude, I was just a fan when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I said, he's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, He's right over there, like right next to us at the thing. So I go to the bathroom, I come back, and all of a sudden, Eddie George goes, "Hey," and I turn around and, "What's up?" He goes, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "George." He's like, "What's your last name?" I'm all Gankas. He goes, "Bro," he says, "I got your membership site." I'm like, "Get out of here." I was I was just talking about you. And then they both came over, I introduced Wolff, and they're like, they didn't know who he is. I'm like, "You don't know who this is?" They're like, "Nah." And then all of a sudden, he's like, I said, "It's Wolff." He's like, "Oh shit." They got all excited, and then freaking Wolff would start rapping out with them. But it was funny. And so here's the story behind it. Is Eddie George, I got him up. He's all, "So tell me about my backswing." So he's all, "Tell me about my transition." So I was helping him just like I was you. Because I dig that. That's what makes it fun for me, is to watch somebody getting up in a restaurant and swing it. I don't give a shit if I look stupid.
And we post on our accounts all the time. Like, you'll see a guy pumping gas, and while the gas
that's
is
the best
pumping,
shit ever.
people take videos. He's out there in the middle of the gas station, like trying to find it. But
that's me.
In golf, you become obsessed, right? And so you just mentioned you got the online where people can sign up, because I'm trying to figure out. You got the G box, which we can get into, but people want to get better. And how can they, they see your videos and it's little kind of tidbits and snippets into what you do, but how can people, through you and what you do, get better and help their own games?
Well, like legit, you can just watch Instagram, you can watch my YouTube stuff for free, but if you want to get more detailed on what I do, I have a membership site, and in the membership site, it took me 2 years to do. It took a lot of work, and it was fun. But it's good, it's well done, and I got 2 guys on a forum that are answering all questions, so that thing's done real well. I got the G box, which is an instructional thing, which I don't know if everybody's seen it, but it's like this right here. But you put it on one side, it tells you how much you turn, get your arms in front of you if those are issues you're having, and there's a lot of videos on how to do it. So if you're trying to learn membership site, or just watch Instagram, or there's a lot of good information out there, but this stuff will tell you what you're doing wrong and how to fix it in the membership site. I
got to tell you, you and your guys are on it, because I got a couple of my buddies are subscribed to it. My one buddy Chad, he's like, "Dude, these guys are fucking great." He's like, he's like, "Here I am in my, in the bathroom mirror at the hotel or whatever, trying to find my positions." And he's like, and I jump on this little forum. He's like, the guy responds in like 30 seconds. Like, "All right, Chad, here's where we need to be."
Badass.
It's incredible.
They've been with me for like 10 years, and like legit, if I didn't have them, that membership wouldn't work the way it does. It's like there'd be people would be getting confused.
So are these the same guys who are running around slinging people's hips, or
they were originally? Well, I've got Jake Ledbetter, who's been my guy that's spun hips forever. Okay. And like, we did the lesson today. We didn't have a video, so we asked Rob.
Yep.
That was hard for me. We don't have mirrors. We don't have the camera set up. So the props aren't there. The sticks. I mean, that's the stuff that my people that will be doing that. I always have at least 5 people watching me. And so I'm like, dude, if you're gonna sit there, you're gonna work. So I have people like spinning hips, making sure the head's not staying down forever, or whatever it might be. The people are working, and they love it because they get to learn the same hand, and they help players. So it's a lot easier when I have my team with me.
So we're just coming off our lesson. My swing gets much talked about. The other guys in the podcast who aren't in this interview, but they roast me all the time, is just having like the ugliest, worst swing in golf for someone who actually plays decent golf.
It's not that bad.
So give your honest thoughts to the listeners about what you saw out of me.
Okay, so my honest opinion is I think you hit the ball really solid. Like, you make good contact, okay?
Thank
you. People don't realize that, and you have a good ball pattern. So the fact is when you miss, you said you overhook it or you block it, and that's because you don't rotate open. You kind of like stick your butt back and you suck your butt in, and from there it's really hard to get out of the way, which means ball flight is going to change. You're going to have your streaky days where you're good and the other ones where you're not. But that's more of like a timing move when you get closer to the ball. So you play it, you aim right, and you play for a little draw.
Yep.
And so when I got there, you're hitting it solid. You hit good shots. And what we try to do is change your setup so you're not sucking your butt in. You're allowing yourself to turn.
Yep.
And then we worked on rotation. And the only reason we did that is so you could get the handle more forward, so you could get your path to face ratios more in tune, so you're not hitting random both way shots, meaning blocks or overhooks. It's not like you're missing. You'll get your patterns, but if things aren't going your way, then you're going to probably start hook. But I was impressed. You're a five handicap?
Yeah, about 5 right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't understand. You don't have to have a good swing to be a good golfer. I see some guys that got shitty-ass golf swings that score. And then I see guys that look pure and they suck.
Yeah.
So
it was very funny when you were just telling me before. You were like, I'll post videos of these guys on my Instagram, and somebody's swing will be pure. They're flushing it, and all the comments will be like, "This guy's a stick," and you'll be like, "Hey, can't break 80. Like, that actually kind of sucks."
Exactly. Well, that happens. Amazing. It is amazing because you'll look at a guy and they absolutely assume that the guy sucks because he's not like traditionally what they call on plane.
Yep.
And you're like, if you don't look like Adam Scott, you suck. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And that is so far from the truth. There's so many guys that are scrappy and that's a whole nother sport is playing golf. Like I said before, I got kids. Every one of my kids learns to make like solid sound, but that doesn't mean they can play. They got to put the work in and be on the course and be playing every day. You got to scrap.
I'm run with scrappy. That's my scrappy
scrap.
game there, Riggs. Well, George said I'm scrappy. Which is
I mean, right off the bat, the only way anybody's going to get good at golf is if they're 30-yard radius around the green, getting up and downs and playing games like that. That's how you get good at golf, and then being on the golf course and seeing different situations every day.
You know, one of your biggest studs, Matt Wolff, he's got, to a lot of people, one of the more interesting moves, action swings in all of golf. Talk a little bit just about kind of your relationship with Matt and ultimately kind of his swing, his move, and what you love about it.
Well, the first time I met Matt was on a driving range, and I looked over and I saw this kid with, he didn't have as big a trigger, it was just a like tiny little hitch.
Okay.
Brought it straight up and was sling hooking it. Like when I say sling hook, he'll tell you he's hitting it 30-yard hooks, and people are like 30 feet, I'm all no, like 30 yards. This shit was slinging.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like he was 13, and the next thing you know, he comes up and he's like, "Do you think I can do a lesson with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So his dad came and was scared. He's like, "I don't want you to change his swing because he's pretty good."
Yeah.
I'm like, "He is good." I said, "But the fact is he ain't surviving with that sling hook."
Right.
I said, and so gradually we started toning it down and really like working what we did with you. He was dumped under a little bit and sucking his butt under. And so we worked rotation and we developed a relationship over time that's been, you know, he's a great kid, as you probably know. He's got a great sense of humor. He's funny. You know, golf isn't his favorite sport in the world. Like he likes.
He's checking scores all the time.
Like no, he's not a fanatic on golf. He loves golf, but it's not like he's got to do it in his room and all the rest. He's he wants to just hang out. He likes to chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it tough sometimes to get him dialed in? Like on, hey, this is.
Well, I love it that people say you didn't have to do anything with this golf swing, and I start going, well, why don't you coach him? See how easy that shit is, because it ain't that easy. Okay. Yeah. You know, things for everyone get off. You know what I mean? Totally. Everyone gets off, and it depends on how people handle him. And he's young. You know what I mean? He's 21 years old, and he's top 15 in the world at this age, 21. There's not many people who have done that ever. And so his expectations were high, and he's starting to learn to control, you know, his emotions a lot better. But like I said, he's learning. And once he does learn with his talent level, it's pretty scary.
Talk about the trigger move a little bit that he does, right? Because every player, you know, Nicholas has a trigger. Everybody's got a trigger move throughout. His is clearly more amplified and gets a lot more coverage. But do you try to teach something like that?
Well, what did I do to you today? I gave you an impact drill, which is for people who don't know what impact. So I'm just basically standing up. This is where I'm at impact with more of a right bend and hip tilt right here, right? So I just said, hey, let's go into impact. I didn't make him stand up. And he's more extended here. He's not flex like this, but he's more into extended position as he's turning through.
Okay.
So I just said, hey, let's get into this impact. And he's always had a baby trigger, like a little pressure forward, like boom, and then take it back. So he would start to go impact like this and then back, and then still had his little like hitch and take it outside.
Yeah. Yep.
So we did that a bunch of impacts because he was very much into out like this. And then he starts to get back to there. So we're always working rotation, just like we did with you today.
Right.
So,
me and Matt. So
very similar swings. You know? Exactly. That's what we did. So he, like as a sophomore, he won a tournament. I believe he shot 61 doing the move the first time. And he says, I swear, you can look it up, 61, 66. It was at Alisal. Yeah, freshman. I think he was a freshman when he did it. And so I was like, he's like, should I keep that trigger? I said, dude, I don't give a shit. That shit's sick. And then I told him about Annika. That's what happened with Annika. She won a tournament with her eyes releasing like it did. And so, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter as long as it feels good to you.
That is interesting because the Annika thing, you know, she, like you said, her eyes kind of moved before, and we were working on that a little bit today.
To get the chest out.
And everybody always talks about keeping your head down, right?
Yeah.
Like that's big.
I said you could keep your head still, more like centered, and I don't mind if it moves off recenters or just stays centered like the old timers. Yeah. I don't mind it, but it shouldn't stay down because then you can't rotate. It's like any other sport. Like if I pick up a ball, the first move is I rotate in my eyes, and then all of a sudden my chest opens and then I can throw. I would never throw this way. I shoot a basket, everything is releasing with the eyes first. Eyes first, neck follows. And for golf, why it's important is your eyes open, the chest can open, that moves the arm forward into a D-loft and more left, which equals less snap hooks, locks.
That makes a lot of sense.
I love TaylorMade. I want to scream it from a fucking mountaintop. I want the whole world to know what I'm doing over here in my room. I'm still quarantining. It's still Corona times. I have a brand new set of TaylorMade P790s. I've got the Sim 2 3 wood. I've got the Sim 2 5 wood. I've got the Sim 2 driver. I've got the Spider putter. I am locked and loaded to take the game of golf, buy the balls, and dominate it. I haven't been able to put it into play yet. These are brand new with brand new shafts, brand new everything on them. I can't wait to go out into the world and play golf with my new clubs. You guys have no idea how much fun I had unwrapping like that little plastic. So it comes in like a bubble wrap, and then you take that off and you think you're ready to go. And then it has a very fine line of plastic on the fucking face of these drivers and 3-woods. I peeled them off so slow that I almost exploded. Trent?
You know how great it is to take that piece of plastic film off of a cell phone. The cell phone comes on the front and you're just taking it off and it's like, oh, that's the best thing in the world. Now times that by 1 billion, because I also got my 3-wood, I got my 5-wood, and they're just sitting like in the hallway there. And I will walk by when I'm going to the bathroom, when I'm like on my way to go to the bathroom, and I'll just grab the club and just be like, yeah, I can't wait to use this thing. They're sexual is what they are.
I shot 68 today. Like,
right.
Was it a shamble? Maybe. Did we get to take just the best drive? Maybe. But from that ball in, like from just a pretty good spot off the tee, I shot 68. So guess what's new about my game? I have TaylorMade clubs throughout. I have the fucking Sim 2 driver and 3-wood. I have the P770s irons. I have mule grind wedges, and I have a 6 Spider putter. So
such a flex to have the 770s over us with the 790s.
I got 790s.
Such a subtle flex.
I'm sorry about that. By the way, that's going to be something I'm going to chirp you guys about forever. So,
dude, I was getting a little mean and like aggravated. People would be like, so these clubs look so good. The 790s look so good that they actually look like blades. I mean, they look like the nicest blades you've ever seen when you take a picture of them. And everyone was messaging me, bro, you're not good enough to hit blades. Who do you think you are? And I said, imagine not knowing what a TaylorMade P790 is. Like, imagine being that stupid to not realize that they are so forgiving, but they also have that sleek look when you're looking at that face of that fucking iron that you feel.
Can I be honest with you guys? I'm inside a porta potty.
You're inside a porta potty, which is in no representation of what TaylorMade clubs are. It's just something that
the exact opposite.
Exact opposite. Whatever the exact opposite of a porta potty is, that is a TaylorMade driver, a new Sim 2. Everyone should go out and at least give it a try. Like, I've told that to a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of golf brands out there. Do whatever you got to do. The TaylorMade clubs that they've just rolled out are different. There's no other way to describe it. They've made them look cooler. They've made them feel better. They've made them sound better. Everything about them is worth the try. You should go book some sort of fitting at whatever store. You got to go to Golf Galaxy. You got to go to PGA Superstore. You got to go to the Kingdom, wherever you got to go. Get it on the books now, because these things are going to sell out. You need to go get your Sim 2 driver. You don't want to be the only idiot in town without a Sim 2, without a 3-wood, without your new P790s or P770s, or your.
You guys hear me peeing right now?
Putter. I can hear you putting. I can hear you.
If you get other equipment, this is what you're doing with your money. You're pissing it down the
absolute
drain.
Fucking joke. You're pissing it down the drain. These things are Patrick Reed-esque, like, not like you're not supposed to be doing them. That's how much pop they've got on their fairway, on the face of these irons. They have so much pop. I've gotten more messages about my TaylorMade clubs than anything I've ever posted on Instagram. That's a fact. I got 1,000 DMs being like, no fucking way do you have the Sim 2 driver. Look at that thing. Look at the colors. Look at the way it moves. Look at the way the fucking light shines on it. Go get yourself some TaylorMade golf clubs.
Everybody knows how good it feels to like relieve yourself. Like, that's one of the best feelings. Hitting a TaylorMade club, I would argue, is infinitely better. It feels that fucking good. And it's actually the only thing that I wish I was doing more than what I just did right now, which felt good, but nothing like hitting a TaylorMade club, especially those Sim 2s, man. When you hit that high on the center of the face where you're supposed to, oh my fucking God, it's the best feeling in the world. Don't you agree, Trey?
I could not agree more. I need to get out there and I need to use these clubs. I'm super jealous that you're getting to use them. I feel like I got blue balls right now.
Yep, TaylorMade brought back its iconic V steel design. So all of you who can say I can't hit my three wood very well, you know who you are. That's actually in this read, and I think that's fucking about me because I've never hit my 3-wood well. They know I can't, but they know that the Sim 2 fairway woods and the rescues are designed to help me specifically. We can talk about these all day long. We've got the Tommy Fleetwood video out. Actually, next Tuesday, when you're listening to this, next Tuesday, the Tuesday coming up, Tommy Fleetwood One Club Challenge. He's a TaylorMade athlete. The TaylorMade series, which we just came out with the bunker video. I thought that was a phenomenal video. I think people are loving the fact that you're getting a little bit of humor. You're humanizing guys like Tommy Fleetwood, and you're also getting an unreal little lesson by him. So go check that out. TaylorMade, go get the clubs. We're going to be talking about this company nonstop. So just go get the fucking clubs now so you can enjoy this with us.
I went into a porta potty pissed and came out during that ad read, and that might be close to as impressive as TaylorMade, but not quite there.
That's an incredible feat. And another incredible feat would be to just go get yourself some clubs. You don't want to be the idiot listening to us talking about them and not enjoying it. Get in on the fun. TaylorMade, Barstool, do it.
If somebody shows up, first lesson with you ever, can you, on the first swing, pretty much diagnose where you need to go and what needs to fix?
You know, people, when they come and watch me, like they go, oh, I know George's stuff. But the fact is that to me, sometimes like I don't know where I'm going to start, and I don't try and be creative with it. I just I go. So if I'm videoing on the face on, it's like I'll start the lesson out with, okay, this guy's moving off, and I'm already going to guess what the backside looks like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So down the line, I mean. Gotcha. So I'm already guessing either side, and then I look at the other side, and then I decide what's the most important. But I don't always start everybody the same, or I'd lose my mind. I mean, it would get stale. A lot of coaches are systematic about how they're doing. The only thing systematic about mine would be the setup is very important because it allows you to be mobile. Yeah. And once you're mobile, then there's no compensations. So when people don't turn, let's say that I'm just standing here and I'm trying to actually go back, how am I going to get this club inside? I'm not just going to rotate through. I'm either going to have to suck my butt in or a tilt or pull my arms to get the club back inside.
You have to do something.
And that's why people, when they have a bad setup and they're bent over, they have no mobility, so they have to get inside this way or this way because they're not just going to bend over and just turn. Or once they get in that bad setup, they're always going to compensate, and that's where injuries start. That's where low point problems start. That's where face control starts. I mean, everything gets bad from the start. So that'd be the only systematic thing I do. Is like set up first, then you got to turn, and then you got to actually, there's a lot of other little things. But
what I liked about what you do a lot is forcing the feeling, right? Where you're ripping my hips or because it's so.
You would have never got any of that if I just said, hey, open your hips. I mean, it took for fucking ever.
Never, because you don't, like, how the fuck would you get to that point? You can't, and you're so ingrained in clearly what's wrong that, like, actually getting to that point, it's almost like scar tissue that you gotta, like, knock away. It's like.
I would have done the lesson different today if the cameras weren't on, and there, I would have slowed it down a lot, but I wanted you to I didn't know how long we were gonna do it, but I would have slowed it down and said, let's do some, like, slower ones and then video and all the rest, and you would have got more out of it, but I was just trying to rip you open and give you a feel so you can actually understand it later. But that was the big. I think that's the only thing that you really need to work on is getting open in the back and the follow through. And I think shit'll change even better than it already is.
I got to come out. to
to
California.
It'd be sick.
So you another thing that's interesting about you, right, is you see some of these teachers that people have heard about. They've got ranches or they've got these crazy practice facilities. You're at like you got mats and there's like a fucking net and a highway in the background.
Yeah.
Is that like you could have your own thing?
Oh, for sure.
Point,
yeah.
Right? I mean, do you just enjoy? That's just your character.
Listen,
what is that?
The fact is that first off, I'm a guy that likes to have my shirt untucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll get someone like Kevin, now tuck your shirt, and he's just fucking around. And I'll tell him to eat my balls. You know what I mean? So the fact is it's the truth. Like, I'm not going to tuck my shirt in unless I have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like being comfortable. No disrespect to anybody. People take that disrespectful, but I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be comfortable. So when I'm on that range, they don't care if I wear flip-flops. They don't care if I actually don't wear a collared shirt, even though I do. I try and be somewhat respectful for like the clients. I have a lot of like clients come up to me and their parents are looking at my shoes, not having a clue what I am, but their kid wanted to get lessons from me. And like, I'm paying this fool $600 for this fucking this guy wearing flip flops, and it's like let's get some shit done. So I don't really care where I teach, like as long as I've got some shade.
Yeah. You'll be all right.
I'm okay, and I got people to help, and I know where things are. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. Would be cool about being indoors or a place that I could head out to a bay would be that I could lock the key and go. I have to fucking set up and put down, but I have guys doing that for me now, which is lucky.
How many students do you have?
Including my online program, to be honest, probably, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but at least 5,000.
See, that's amazing.
I mean, I got guys that will come once a year, but they religiously come once a year. And I got guys come from like China, and they'll come once a year or for 3 days straight. And they've been doing that for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So I got guys that you would go, oh, that's not really your student. I'm like, well, it still says fucking he goes to me. I'm like, I haven't seen this guy in 2 years.
Do you like remember their swings when they show up?
Sometimes, well, I always remember a face. Like, I don't forget faces. So I'll see a guy and be like, fuck, I know I've taught you. What's your name again? Like, legit. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that I have that once a month, once every 2 months, or I'm doing online lessons or the membership site. I mean, I'm counting those, but that's not really fair. Yeah. And then I got guys that, like, I got tour players that I mean, I'm not going to name because they have coaches, and I'm not trying to get in. I say, just keep with your coach, because a coach is different than a technician. If someone's like, bro, what do you think about this? I'll be like, all right, this is what I think. And I do that a lot for tour players because I don't want to have 10 guys on tour. I don't.
Right.
I want to have 2. Maybe 3. That's what, you know what I mean? This is hard to be out here every week for me.
And it's a very, it's funny, the aspect of like coaches and stuff on tour, because it gets very personal. And you hear like, oh, is this guy? Or it's almost like they're like cheating on somebody.
Oh, it's very territorial.
Yeah.
And I respect all the coaches out there. And if someone did have a player that asked me for me, I am not trying to get your player. That's the last thing I want. I got enough players. I don't even make money out here compared to where I'm back home.
Right,
it's like,
right.
I just do this because it's fun. And so a lot of people go, you need credibility to have a good player, to be a good coach. I'm like, you know what's a fucking being a good coach? Is someone can fix a 20 handicapper.
Yeah.
Fixing DJ, that shit's fucking, he's DJ. He's DJ.
Yeah.
He's badass. Not saying that his coach doesn't do anything. I never said that.
No, but
don't
like,
take that the wrong way. But I'm just saying, and you could say that same thing about Wolff. You could say the same thing about a lot of tour players. Fixing someone who's a 20 and bringing them down to scratch player, that's fucking hard, dude.
Is that
that's hard shit.
You've seen that big of drops before?
Oh, hell yeah. I've got guys that are 30s that are scratch. I mean, people for sure think I'm full of shit. This guy could make a scratch player in fucking 6 months.
Well, let's not be crazy.
But he just shot out, like, I don't even want to call him out, but he could definitely, I would bet anyone if we did like a Haney project and like a Ganker fucking project,
yep.
I guarantee I get him scratched, and I'll bet anybody in the planet, if he had the time.
How much of that is swing versus the rest of the game?
I think swing is a small factor of being a good golfer.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you've got to go out and ride the bike. You've got to be, everyone at one point has been a kid and just got the ball in the hole. And then once your swing starts getting better, you start flushing it more, your distance control gets better, your curve control, you stop missing on the wrong side of pins, so your short game starts getting better, your putting, you start working on drills, and then it all just comes together. But the fact is you can have 100 different types of swings and get it in the hole. I mean, more than that.
Totally. Do you do a lot of like playing lessons?
Playing lessons, yeah, I've always done. That's what I enjoy. I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is that I've been teaching a long time. I've been teaching since 96, 97, and I just turned 50. So that being said, I used to like, my first passion was I had like pro surfers that I would actually go coach and turn them into scratch players. In a matter of them, because they're talented and they have time off, they go play.
I love it.
That was the start when I was like 24, 25, 26. I'd take certain, like Timmy Curran, he's a pro surfer back in the day. And I got him good. He was probably 25 and I got him to like a 5 in like legit a year. Okay, and so the fact is, he's probably worse than that now. But the fact is, in this time, he got good real fast because we play golf every day. So was that what was my passion is first to get people to score? Yeah. And then I had every junior in Cali that was any good 3-4 years ago. That's when I first started like on Instagram, people started knowing who I was. And then I started charging more. And once you charge more, you're not going to get juniors. So you start charging like heavy price, kids aren't going to come as much.
It's interesting.
Unless they're the rich kids and they're not going to actually practice. And you have your exceptions. There's some kids that work their ass off. In general, yeah.
No, and I think people understand that. It's interesting because for having popped up on Instagram, people might think like, oh yeah, George's been doing it for 5 or 6 years. They don't realize it's been like 20, 30.
Where'd he come from, bro? He just came out of nowhere.
Right.
Fuck,
it's like, no, he didn't.
I've been doing this shit for a long time.
You've seen everything.
I've seen a lot. I mean, I've been a fanatic in this game for a long time, but people just didn't know who I was.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's well, look, we'll have to get you back on. I
appreciate it. This was fun.
I want to come out. And I'm obsessed, right? So it's like, and there's as an average weekend golfer who now is in a position where like we get to play a lot more golf, we get to play sweet golf courses. There's no activity or experience better in life than playing good golf.
I agree.
It
makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It changed. I was like, the grass is greener everywhere, the food tastes better, like the girls are hotter, like everything's better when you're playing good golf.
When you're playing like shit.
It fucking sucks when you're
legitimately,
playing like shit.
When you say that, it's funny that you say that because I legit feel like I'm a fraudulent teacher if I'm not playing good golf. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, and that's not fair.
Right.
But the fact is if I'm not playing good golf, I feel like I don't communicate my message. I don't have as confidence in what I'm doing. But when I'm playing good, it's like, this shit works. Shut the fuck up and do it.
Yeah, and it was funny because you grabbed one of my irons after, and you were hitting a couple, and I could tell you were very much like, yeah, what I was saying is fucking right. Yeah, you do that. It's you just roasted, is it? So it's cool that you're that into it.
I love it. Yeah, it's good.
All right, man. Well, thanks for doing. We'll have to get you back on with the whole crew.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it. Thanks
and
for
I want
having
to come out. I want to get your full setup out in California.
We'll
do
get
the
your
whole
shit
thing.
real straight. It's
Hell
still
yeah.
good. Don't sleep on it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.